All right, and you have to know that they'll learn the building blocks to this. This is an equal parts bar model. So this is the smaller number, this is the larger number, right? The smaller number is 1/3 of the larger number, right? These are equal parts, they're all an equal amount. And they would have had, they would
it's 9
never
and
just jump
27.
into this, right? They would have had experience with model drawing, you know,
Get it.
and or recall prior
9 and
knowledge
27.
that would review model drawing. And their sum is 36,
I got it.
okay? So you have the answer. So what, if each of these is an equal part and you have 4 parts, what are they worth?
Divide 36 by 4.
Divide 36 by 4. If you divide 36 by 4, you get 9. So the smaller number is 9, and the larger number is 27. Okay?
Got it.
So, again, I mean, this could be linked to algebra. I mean, you could write it out as an algebraic equation, but that is an equal parts bar model, okay? And I have it up here too, but.
See, but I can't remember the algebra because I memorized it, right? That's her point.
Okay. So another thing that they'll do with this, and I'm going off the cuff here because I just love it so much, is when they get into 5th and 6th grade, they'll do ratio problems. So they could be like, okay, the ratio of boys to girls
Small. Do you have Miss
is,
Mulvey in high school?
I don't know, let's see, 3 to 8.
She would like this.
Okay. If there are 44 students, you know, how many boys? I'm just jotting, and how many girls, right?
Okay, so it's 30.
So that might be something that they might do with a model like this with equal parts. And this gets into ratio. So that other problem, which is just whole number, this is into a ratio problem, which is 5th, 6th, 7th grade. So here you have boys to girls. If I told you it's equal parts bar modeling, right? How many parts would I draw for the, or how many boxes would I draw for the boys? The ratio is 3 to 8.
3.
3, right? So I would draw 3 boxes, and again, equal parts, just do as best you can. Some teachers will use graph paper for this, right?
So you
And then
divide
you
by 11.
have
So it'll be total of 11. Makes
8.
sense.
Do the best I can here, writing sideways. Okay, so you have 8. So the ratio of boys to girls is 3 to 8, right? What is the total number of students?
44.
Of course, that goes over here. This is our total. So what is each part worth if these are all equal parts?
4.
Right, how many parts do we have?
11.
11. So each part is worth 4, right? 44 divided by 11. So then how many boys do we have?
12.
12. And how many girls do we have?
32.
14, 8, 32.
Okay.
Right. So this is just, again, this is where bar modeling goes. And again, this is a really brief overview of this. I decided to do another equal parts just because we went there. I mean, the part-whole that I like to show too is, I think I have it in here, but this is not going to work. No, there we go. So, it's the next one. So is show me 3x. Well, as they get into algebra, and again, this is one way that students will do it. They're still showing and modeling and solving equations, but this is a way to model it. So this is 3x, right? 3x plus 5 would be 3x plus 5. 3x plus 5 equals 28 would be 3x plus 5 equals 28. And because they're so used to this part-whole relationship, they know that they have to do what to find out this?
Subtract.
they have to take away the 5, right? Because even back to when they did the number bond way, way long ago, right? They know, oh, to find out this part, I'm going to take, 28 take away 5, right? So 28 take away 5. They know, well, when you're doing the equation, what's the first step in this equation?
Subtract 5.
To take away 5, right? Well, here, the only way, the first step is going to be to find out this is to take away 5. So now instead of just saying, oh, opposite operations, which is still important, right? They were learning inverse operations here and here, but you can show them that in order to find out the 3x, you have to subtract the 5 first. A lot of times kids will go ahead and try to divide by the 3 first, right? And then you can take them back to this. So 3x equals, oh, I didn't make a nice number, equals 23, and then they'd have to do 23 divided by 3 to get the value of x. So that's kind of as how it will build going into algebra. But again, they're still doing this. They're still doing, even when we do the place value blocks, they're still doing standard algorithms for addition and subtraction. It's just giving them this picture in their mind.
Answers are still the same, so it'll work out.
And I won't do this one, but so one story I always like to tell, and it's just kind of this link to why visualization is so important. Okay, and it might be a little silly, but okay, if you did that and you told little kids, since they were really little, that this was a squirrel. This is a squirrel. Oh, look, honey, this is a squirrel. And, oh, look, there's a squirrel. They would think it was a squirrel. They would picture a squirrel every time they saw it, right? What we want them to picture when they see a 5 is not just this 5. We want them to picture this. We want them to picture this. We want them to picture this. We want them to know what 5 is. Okay, not just this numeral 5, not just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but we want them to be able to picture what 5 is. And this is a very basic example. I mean, you go into 1/2 or x or whatever it may be, 5x. But that whole idea of visualization is so important. And if kids don't have that, what all of these concrete materials and things are is a way to help them to develop that. Because as they move forward, the more they can visualize and they have a picture in their mind, the more they're going to be able to access. And I was never a language arts teacher, but I could only imagine that it's very similar in language arts when you're asking the students when they're reading something to create a picture in their mind of that setting or what's going on, and it's the same in math, that we really want them to be able to visualize what they're doing. And I can't tell you enough that this is just scratching the surface. And I know that you probably have a lot more questions, and I did promise those sticky notes. So I will put out some sticky notes, and if you have things, or you just, it can be as simple as, I want to know how to help my student with their homework, moving forward, or I really want more about bar models, or anything. Just jot it down and put it under the topics questions for the fall. If it's something like for the parent night, if it's something more district questions, I know a couple things came up, write those down and stick them over there so that we have them. And I'll take them if I'm your trainer coming in the fall, to make the agenda up, to really target those areas of where people had those questions, or target those areas of need. And then I think the district questions that came up are valid ones. Being here for math and focus, those will have to be directed towards people who are here in your SAU. Yes?
You were saying Dover has been using math and focus for 2 years?
This is our third year, and we also had a pilot year, so it's really the fourth year. This is our first year of full K-8 implementation. We did K-6, and then 7, and then 8.
Did you see a marked improvement on the kneecaps?
In certain grade levels and certain areas. So if you wanted to know more about that, I'd have to ask my curriculum director.
Yes, I can get
But
an idea.
yeah, you could take a look. But yes.
So you should do pretty good on the test this spring.
The Smart Balance.
You would assume that you guys would,
Yes.
that'd be a focus to
Yes.
see how well you do.
Yeah. And there are other districts in New Hampshire, and again, I'm not here as a Dover
Right.
person, I'm here for Math and Focus, but there are other districts in New Hampshire who are using Math and Focus, and Maine, there's a bunch of districts in Maine
Yeah,
as
I'm just
well.
thinking to relate to my, you know what I mean, like how well my students are gonna do.
And Massachusetts too. So you could look in there are districts in all 3 states
That are doing
that
it.
are using it.
But you're probably doing it the longest in the state, no?
Close to.
We'll see.
I'm trying to think if there's anyone else in New England. Scarborough, Maine has been doing it for a while. Amherst, New Hampshire. There's some places in New Hampshire that are using it in Maine. And I want to say there's a place in Massachusetts, but now I'm blanking out on where it is.
Yeah, it's just good, I think it's just good to know like what it will entail for our students just doing it for the first year.
Yeah, and it's it's a transition, and I think that as your teachers and parent nights and different more and more trainings that you have, I think that people will have their questions answered, and just knowing what to do and knowing what to expect. There is one last thing I want to show you, and I know I'm going way over, and I'm so sorry. So
Good.
feel
Please go
free to-
forward.
This just happened.
For the first time in 6 months, I'm not hungry.
It's funny.
So this is the middle school site, and it's called my.hrw.com. And I'll talk with Mr. Redwar, and I'll talk with Mary about the online piece. Let me put this over here. And basically, when you log in, you have access to all of the tabs up there up to parent resources. So, you'd have access to the textbook, you'd have student resources. These are some of the different things that are available online. So this will open the text. So this is chapter 4 of grade 7. Okay? And if you clicked over here, like your student clicked over here, and you go to the extra practice page, which is like a worksheet that goes along with that chapter. So this is just some of the online components. And then, again, this is middle school. There are some parent resources. I was going to show you a background video, but there are some background videos. That's what it takes to load. But you could go in under the parent resources tab, and there's different background videos that also give you information. They're anywhere from like 5 to 10 minutes long about different topics. And then if you went in under student resources, this gives you, your different extra practice pages and different things kids can do, a vocabulary review, enrichment. Okay. So that's the middle school. And then Think Central here is this is the K-5 site. And this
Is it www? I can't read it.
the student workbook.
Is it?
myhrw.com.
Oh, it's not. It's all on the same one. I thought that was the middle school.
I need our business card.
Oh, my glasses on. I can't see the little writing.
Well,
The virtual manipulatives are just kind of little pop-up.
Is this under the hiw.com as well?
So this is over there, it's the K-5, it's called Think Central.
Oh, okay.
So
So
the websites are over here,
Okay.
and that's thinkcentral.hrw.com. you can go to just thinkcentral.com and click through. If you type the address that's there, it will just come straight to it. But I'm going to talk with Jerry and Mary about, getting, if you go to these sites, you'll need a login.
So the older grades, they log in to do their homework, right?
They log in, they could print their homework, or they could look at the book.
Yeah, or they can log in too? Okay.
Yeah. Have you done this before?
My daughter does the login on the IXL for her homework.
Yeah, so if you went in under her login, you
Yeah.
could see the parent resources, the student resources, the first 4 tabs here.
I usually send my husband in.
There you go. There you go.
That's what I do. I take on the baby duties and send him in to help.
And then,
You better start with Eva.
Yeah.
and then, I was thinking that tonight, and I'm getting off of bedtime duty. But the library here, this happens to show 2nd, 3rd, and 1st grade is up there as well, but your student would have whatever grade level they're in. They'd have access to the virtual manipulatives, the workbook, and the textbook. And then these background videos are here as well, so if you go into the background videos, it would, it's not going to come up for me. It would bring up a video of all, let's see. There we go. It would bring up all different videos. This happens to be grade 2. For each chapter, support videos of things that you could watch. So it's a little introductory video for each chapter. And then beyond that, for grade 2, they have one on learning multiplication facts and how you can help, learning how to solve word problems, including addition and subtraction, why mental math is important. And these are just all different consultants or contributing authors for the program. So they're videos you can watch. And like I said, they're pretty short. They're anywhere from 3 to 8 minutes long. So you can see there's a decent list of those. And they have them for different grade levels. Okay? So that is Think Central. And that can, that could be helpful again these first couple years. It's just able to go on and.
I don't think we've ever had these emails like sent home, have we? No? Did I maybe, like this info for the new math? I don't think.
So the
We've
My
had that.
HRW, if your daughter is logging in, like that's the site. That's the same site that she would
Okay.
be logging into. And then K to 5 is Think Central.
Well, thank you
Do
for
we have
sharing.
access to that now, Mr. Gregoire?
No, I
We just have to have a-
will, if it's not been done, I will
She
contact
said we have
Mary
to have
about
some
how
sort
to
of
do
a
that.
login number or something.
We'll log in to see what we have in school here.
Yeah, so I can get on to my daughter's.
Yeah,
But
you've
if we
been-
didn't get
yes,
one?
If your daughter's been accessing it at home, then you could get on to it. Yeah.
So
Just making sure we have those logins.
But I wouldn't be able to log on. Well, I mean, I'd be able to.
Yeah.
the rest of us couldn't, like, I have a 2nd grader, I don't have any information.
I couldn't
that-
get on for
we
my
can't just
2nd
get
grader
on?
either.
So you'll have to
gonna get
just,
Well, she's-
when you go, if
the
you
first 4
went there,
tabs?
you wouldn't be able to just log in. You'll need a login.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying is I'll be in touch with
Okay.
with Mary about doing that.
Gets me off the
It's
hook
not-
for tonight.
it's not-
Gets me off the hook for tonight.
And if you were interested in having a text, you can. I mean, I don't know if the district has extras that they send home, but if they don't, I mean, Great Source is
Okay.
a place you can go to get them online. And I know, again, I'm way over, so I don't know if you have any other questions. The Math and Focus really the questions for me, but I would, I know that the district is planning on having another parent night in the fall, so sticky notes, I'm going to get them, and you can write things down for us to focus on in the fall.
Yeah, so would you say like the majority of the country is moving towards this and adapting to this?
So there are many, many districts that have gone with this specific program.
Yeah.
But if you look at other programs as well, it's the same idea. It may not be the exact Singapore philosophy, but it's visuals, number lines, having students not just follow procedural knowledge, but also building conceptual understanding. You're just looking at a lot more problem solving. I mean, if you think about it, even someone had said to me, and this is just in my experience with different districts and trainings, is, you know, many of the things that students will be needing to do will be in the palm of their hand. So what we need to teach them is how to be flexible thinkers and how to be problem solvers, and again, having that visual, understanding the mathematics, because a lot of things as they move forward, they'll be able to just look it up, you know, very quickly. So it's, I think a lot of programs are moving toward that same idea, that same philosophy. Is just taking the time to create those good habits of perseverance in their students.
So you knowing the program, what would you recommend I do for my daughter that's in 6th grade, that's doing it for the first year, that is struggling a little bit with some of it? What would you recommend? What kind of, like, would you recommend like a tutor over the summer to watch
possibly,
the videos?
I mean, that's your personal preference. I would definitely contact the teacher. I would definitely try to ask a little bit more about the models, because I think a lot of the word problems that the 6th graders typically struggle with are, if they use a model, it makes it a little bit easier, or it may be something that would otherwise require algebra, which they haven't, you know, built up their proficiency with that level of algebra yet in 6th grade. So I would encourage the models. I would encourage just, again, asking questions and seeing maybe if you know, things could be bumped out a little bit. So I get, you know, again, those would be my 2 suggestions to start. And any time you can work on fluency is also very good. So, you know, that's an easier thing to work on at home, but the more students have fluency with facts or fractions, or it's going to help them, you know, I mean, even in terms of knowing factors of a number and things like that. So I'm sure that anything you choose to do over the summer to support with that is going to help just moving forward.
Thank you.
But in terms of those word problems, I would just ask about that, where they're at in the class.
I'd like to thank you for coming. The question was raised, and we would have liked to have had you come a year ago.
Yes.
When the school board had made this transition to go to Math in Focus, and it took a year to be able to get you here. So I'm hoping that for the parents that have these young kids, you'll be back in the fall. You'll have lots of questions. My only question is the parent resource online. How long will it take so that will we have that be able to log in before school ends this year?
Maybe. I mean, it doesn't take long to set up, as long as everything is, you know, set up through. Yeah, I would. I mean, I'm not sure how fast the turnaround is here, but I know that I'll get in touch with Mary right away.
Who's Mary?
Yeah.
The curriculum coordinator.
And does
Yeah, or
She's
Jerry.
already my
her last name.
Yeah, yeah.
and
What's Mary's
will-
last name? It would be on the website.
Wilson?
Did this-
Wilson, right? Mary
Wilson.
Wilson?
Yes.
Did
is
the
that the black
school have
lady,
the
the
knowledge
Hallmark
that was, I mean, we could have done that for all year?
I am not sure. So I don't know. I can't answer that one because I'm not positive exactly.
It just would have been a
Right.
very big helpful resource for a lot of parents, I would think. And how much parent information is under parent resources? I mean, will it help parents with homework assignments or?
So you're, one of the things, if the book is not coming back and forth, yeah, here it comes. So the text will be there. So if you're, this is a grade 3 class, but if you just open the text at home, and just by having that, you're gonna be able to go to the lesson
Okay,
and look at the examples.
Yep.
How it was presented.
perfect.
Beyond that, I mean, there's those background videos that give more, of why it's being taught that way, or how they'll give examples of how it's being taught.
Well, that is an excellent tool, and I am disappointed we didn't have access to it this year. But thank you very much for coming.
Yeah, you're welcome. And again, sorry we didn't even get further, but, I will hope to be back in the fall and, stick your sticky notes up and.
So stick 'em up there, I saw that.
Yeah, we'll use that and take that into consideration as, points for our agenda for that meeting. And sometimes just working through some of these questions and some of these problems, will help just to.
Well, it opened my
Yeah,
eyes.
yeah. So, you're welcome. Like I said, I can talk about it all day, so.
Yeah.
I gotta let everybody go home, including myself.
Yeah. Honestly, I think a lot of parents don't even realize.
Yeah, ask your questions.